Cleanup is underway after a car smashes into a house, while the driver says an animal is to blame for the accident. Plus, an overnight wreck shuts down part of a metro highway, and now police are trying to track down the driver. The latest on that search is next. Plus, KU is one step closer to a national title this morning. Find out who they will face in the Elite Eight next. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Boyle. A car crashes into a Blue Springs house and an animal may be to blame. Police say that around 11 last night, a woman was driving near the intersection of Northwest Valley View Road and Golden Roberts Road when an animal ran in front of her car. The unidentified woman swerved to avoid it and crashed into the front of a house. Now, there's no word if anyone was home at the time or if there were any injuries. While you were sleeping, Kansas City police were investigating a car accident on 71 Highway in Kansas City. The accident happened around 2:15 this morning on northbound ramp from 71 to Bannister Road. Now, the car was heavily damaged, but officers were unable to locate the driver. The off-ramp was shut down for a few hours as police investigated, but it has since reopened. If you know anything about the driver or anybody that's involved, you're asked to call police. Now, police are still working to figure out what's led to a shooting in Kansas City. It happened last night on Independence Avenue. We know one person was shot in the face. They were taken to a hospital. Police have not released that person's condition, and no arrests have been made. Overland Park police have been on the lookout for drunk drivers. Overnight, officers conducted a DUI patrol from 7 to 3. Altogether, police stopped 29 cars, made 2 DUI arrests, and handed out tickets for dozens of other offenses. The patrol was intended to reduce alcohol-related auto accidents and cut down on impaired drivers. The Kansas Jayhawks' quest for another national title is alive and well this morning. The Jayhawks are the only Big 12 team left in the NCAA tournament, and they are just one step away from the Final Four. KCTV5's Alan Shope followed the team to San Antonio and joins us now with a closer look.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm not sure if this was the kind of game Kansas was expecting to get from Richmond last night. It was a blowout win for the Kansas Jayhawks. The game started with some pushing and shoving, so that was a pre-teller as to what was going to happen in this game. But the guys did say, you know what, that's a part of it.
Oh, we was trying to get past, and we trying to squeeze past, and they was pushing us. And, we trying to be a class act team, but guys was pushing us. We was trying to squeeze by, so, we got to let them know from the jump, like, this ain't no, we from Kansas, but, Kansas ain't no pushover.
When the clock started ticking, so did the Hawks. Kansas off to a 20-point lead before anyone could blink. The Hawks.
And KCTV5 is the best place to be for March Madness. We'll be airing 2 more tournament games today. To see the teams and times, go to kctv5.com. Click on the gold bar at the top of the homepage. And to get a complete NCAA tournament information, click on the link under local headlines. Sure should be fun in Lawrence. Now the time is 9:35. Officials are trying to cool down the nuclear reactors in Japan. Their new method straight ahead. And it was an incident that riveted the nation. The Texas girl who fell into a well and survived 23 years ago is cashing in. The details when we come right back.
It's Your Morning Saturday. We'll be right back.
Well, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on KCTV5 News. I'm Mark Boyle. The defense is expected to start its case Monday in the Javante Anderson murder trial. He's accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, her boyfriend, and her 2 nephews. The defense is already trying to discredit the prosecution's case, saying there is little evidence to prove Anderson was even home at the time the murders happened.
Profile identified as being at the crime scene. Any of the evidence at the crime scene or collected from the crime scene in this case?
No.
An FBI expert testified a cell phone belonging to Anderson's father made at least 4 calls near the crime scene. The prosecution is expected to wrap up Monday afternoon. The jury could take the case by the middle of next week. The federal government says it's out of money to clean up meth labs, and that has local law enforcement scrambling. Yesterday, officials with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation lobbied legislators for more money to fight meth production. Now, this fiscal year, the agency spent $365,000 cleaning up 100 labs. They've asked for another $150,000 to get through the end of the fiscal year. We talked to Colonel Ben Kenny with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, and he said despite a lack of funding, they will continue to fight on.
Our enforcement rate will still be as it is. We will not drop back any of our investigative ability. We'll still continue operating at our procedures we are now, and we won't let this slack off in our operation whatsoever.
Now, Kansas Bureau of Investigation spokesman says the agency is confident that they'll get the money they've asked for. Making headlines around the world this morning, there's been a switch to fresh water for cooling Japan's crippled nuclear reactors. Officials are making the switch because of fears salt and other contaminants in the seawater are hampering the cooling process. The seawater could be clogging up pipes and coating the surface of reactor vessels and fuel rods. The Japanese defense minister says U.S. made this request for the switch to fresh water. And baby Jessica is all grown up. How can we forget those pictures? The Texas toddler who tumbled down a well back in 1987 turns 25 today. She's now a stay-at-home mother of 2 and lives 2 miles away from the site where she was rescued. She says she has no memory of when she fell down the abandoned water well. Baby Jessica will now have access to an $800,000 trust fund that Sympathetic Strangers set up. A live look outside with our Safety Auto Cam. Your Storm Track 5 weekend forecast is coming up next. Calling all comic lovers, a show you don't want to miss is in town today. We have the scoop straight ahead. And coming up, we'll stop by one of the hottest places on the plaza for a lamb dish you can serve up in your very own home. Stay with us.